On today's Pub Talk, we have the Hall of Fame game. Preseason has now started, and we can't wait for the regular season. The Hall of Fame inductions have also happened as well. And then we also have some camp holdouts that have come back, of course, with Michael Thomas. We'll have a little talk on the MLB trade deadline. And also Hops of the Week, a new segment coming up today. And then we also have the Crazy Horse Monument of War movies. And finally, 6 beers to round out the show, of course. But before we get to all that, as always, we want to thank our sponsor at Route 11 Chips. Summer brings friends and family together for all kinds of reasons, cookouts, parties, socials, or maybe you're planning a big summer bash. You're going to need snacks, and Route 11 has been chipping away since 1992. With their secret recipe and superior ingredients, their mission is to make an outstanding product in a safe and clean environment. If you haven't tried their chips, you don't know what you're missing. Quality and flavor packed into every bag. So stop in at your local Giant, Martin's, or Food Line and pick up a bag today. Alrighty, let's get this thing started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pub Talk, brought to you by Route 11 Chips, episode number 9, going strong. We have another special guest here with us today. Coach Vigna has now joined us on the mic. Pat is not here, and neither is Biff.
He's coming, though, right? I heard he was coming.
I think he's coming.
Right.
I don't know.
I think he might be.
He's got other things to attend to, I guess.
Yeah.
But we have Coach
He better be
Vigna.
here for 6 beers. Shit, we got some good stuff going.
We handpicked it out today.
Yeah, we handpicked
2
it.
weeks worth of stuff. So he better be down here to at least taste the delicious treats that we picked out. But Coach Vigna is a friend of Coach. So Coach and Coach, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
And today we get to talk about football. I know you guys started your football mini camp over this past weekend.
Yep.
And now you guys are going to go straight into two-a-days on Monday. That's going to be awful. But, I mean, two-a-days are not fun.
We had 2 days in camp. I mean, we got started in the heat and the bugs and everything else, but we got it done.
We were out there painting.
You were out there.
Yeah, we had,
slaving.
Yeah, we're not like the big boys. We have to paint our own lines and get stuff ready.
Oh, I know. You don't have turf wherever you go.
Right.
Like Angels in the or Field of Dreams. If you build it, they'll come.
Right.
So the Hall of Fame game has come. It's a week before the real preseason starts for some reason.
Yeah.
And the Broncos played the Falcons. I wanted to be excited because football is back, but then I realized that it's preseason, man. It was 14-7, and it was boring as hell to watch.
I wouldn't say it was a great display of NFL football. I will say that. I had to come home. I had a personal issue attending the funeral of a friend who passed away, and it was terrible. But I managed to get home that evening, and I caught some of the game, and I'd have to agree that it was not a great display of true NFL football. And I think, and it's just me, but it's not unlike what we do at our level, coaching in high school and stuff like that, where, when you get this close to a scrimmage and you're preparing.
You don't have much time really for this game.
You really don't have a lot of time.
They
started a few days earlier before the other teams did.
Yeah, true, yeah.
But I think the whole thing comes down to, can you execute a play? Can we talk about the basics and execute basic plays and stuff like that? And they struggled with that. I can't tell you how many dropped balls there were, how many penalties there were.
Noah Fant really pissed me off with the way that he was playing in that game. He's a first-round draft pick, and he was a very highly touted tight end.
Yeah.
And he dropped a lot in his first game.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know. Call it what you want. It was the beginning of the season. But it was not. It was not what I expected.
It seems like every Hall of Fame game's like that. Though.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just the early week and a half that they start.
Yeah, I think the coaches have to say, hey, what do we want to do? What do we not want to do? Let's keep it vanilla as a flavor of ice cream. Let's keep it vanilla. Can we get these guys? Can they get lined up? Can they execute a play? And then when you get all these penalties and drop passes and fumbles and things like that, and you're like, Jiminy Christmas, dude, we got a lot of work. We got a lot of work in front of us.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we finally got our first taste of the review pass interference call.
Yeah, we did.
Finally get to see a coach's challenge on that play. Right. And what happened? It was still upheld. So nothing changed. It was still pass interference.
Right.
And And from that, you also had other things like Drew Lock coming in, who's their first round draft pick. And what happened with him? Nothing. Nothing happened. 14-7 final score for this game. Yeah, exactly. For a Hall of Fame display, you're in probably the most prestigious stadium.
Hey,
in the
we had a
NFL.
player from our school playing in that game, and I was proud to see him on the field, and that's special. And I know his parents were there, and whether that game was well played by all the other players, if you're a parent and you're watching your son play in the Hall of Fame game because
It's their chance to do it.
he's
It
trying to
really
make
is.
an NFL roster,
is, yeah.
well then pretty much fuck you, because it was probably pretty special. So I and when you look at some of those things, you got to think about all the rookies and their parents that were there to watch their kid try to make the 53-man roster, and that's the first step to making it. And I would say that. Did you do anything to prevent you from making the roster, or did you do what they expected you to do?
I don't know. There were some muffed kicks, and I was like,
Yeah,
that kid just lost his job.
that's a great way to find. That's a great way to find the slip in your locker.
Yeah. But we've all, I hope, have seen Hard Knocks. You'll see families of some players. You'll see girlfriends who are always there supporting some players they are probably not going to make the team, or will have a very slim chance of making it. And you see how much effort they put in to supporting them.
I love that part of it. I love all that part of it. So while the game itself may
you
not
love
have
when
been
they make it, not when they lose.
But I just like the stories behind some of these young guys, and some of these guys have battled some pretty serious situations. Maybe back in their family background or back in their recent history, perhaps an injury or whatever, or overcome something. Those are things I really like. One of the other special things that I really, really enjoy about the Hall of Fame game is the little sidebar interviews they have with the guys who were just the new inductees. I really enjoy those.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they do up there in Canton, how they perform. It's almost like, what is it? Isn't it an extra preseason game though for them? Don't they play 5, or is that?
No, it's their first preseason game.
That's their first.
It's their first. Yeah.
No, well, to me, sometimes I don't know. I get bored by preseason football. I don't know, but I mean, these kids are trying to make the roster. But
we're in the same boat, no question.
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people would say, "God damn, just get to the first. Let's get to week 1."
Yeah.
How long does it take to put 50 points on the board? Come on.
I mean, it's also a trial run too for the coaches. You can't forget that.
Yeah.
To make sure,
a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I mean, that's we're going to have a new segment today, and that's one of the things I want to talk about as a new coach and the experience he went through. But I totally get that. So I'm not completely put off by the Hall of Fame and say, hey, we shouldn't play this game. Nah, you should play it, but it should come with a little sidebar memo going, this is probably not going to be very good. So, but enjoy the stories, and I do. I thoroughly enjoy the stories, and I love those sidebar interviews with the players, the new inductees, and stuff like that. I really like that. I really like the one with Champ Bailey, and I like the one with Ty Law. I enjoyed some of those.
Yeah, well, that was the main event for this whole weekend. Everyone wants to see football, but this whole weekend was about the Hall of Fame inductees.
Yeah.
Is it 7? Is it 7 or 6? Either way, enshrined in history
There are
of the NFL.
six players, and then
Gil Brandt was the one.
No, and then
for the
Pat
Cowboys.
Bowlen, owner of the Broncos.
Yeah. So enshrined in NFL history, having their bust in Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame, and you had a very big inductee.
Yeah.
It's a good
really
list.
God, I mean, when I look at it,
These are players that I watched.
Right,
So I'm very
right.
happy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It might be one of the better classes, top to bottom.
Yeah, when you look back at some of the stuff that they accomplished during their careers, you're like, holy shit, why did it take this long to put him in? They should have just retired and said, okay, you're going to Canton right away. A guy like Ed Reed, holy shit.
The first person I thought of.
Yeah, you think Ed Reed and you're like, he's the human interception machine.
He changed the game you want to say that if they got into the Hall of Fame, they changed the game, but Ed Reed, he did change the game for making ball hawk safeties.
Yeah. I love that the hat he was wearing at the game, a ball hawk on the front of it. It was combined with the Maryland flag and the Ravens emblem. Pretty cool stuff. I really like him. although he looks like a hobo.
Have you seen his bust? They gave him the beard and everything.
It looks good.
It looks
They
fantastic.
said his bust should have its own like.
Is there a Hall of Fame for Hall of Fame bust? Yeah.
Like it's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He changed the game, and then you also have Tony Gonzalez right there next to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's got more catches as any tight end in the history of the game right now, and why not? I mean, he was just phenomenal. Well, how many years did he play? I think he plays 12 years with
I thought
12
it
years
was
with
like 14.
Kansas, 12
Was
with
it
Kansas City or something like that before he gets traded to Atlanta,
Yeah.
and he didn't even slow down. I mean, he could have continued to
He
play.
retired in 2013.
Right.
Or was it? Yeah, it was 2013. was his
13 he
last one.
retires.
So
But
you
he-
need 6 years, to get in then.
Dude,
yeah.
he could have probably been playing. He could probably catch a few balls for you now. You know, he could have been playing for the Patriots, replacing Gronkowski now. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good debate there. Who's better? Right there?
Gonzalez. I think Gonzalez is better than in terms of clutchness. Maybe Gronk is there, but in terms of durability and long-term standing and the stats and all that stuff, Gonzalez is standing right there.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
But don't forget about Ditka. Don't forget about Ditka. You know, he was the first one in. Goddamn Ditka.
Ditka. There's a whole sausage lodged in the lining of my heart. And then you have Ty Law, who's a Patriot.
Yeah, you know,
3-time Super Bowl champion.
He's credited. You know, he's partly credited with the creation of the Patriots dynasty. You know,
He's also partially credited with the illegal contact penalty on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards you have to give the receiver. Mel Blount is credited with pass interference, but Ty Law is credited with illegal contact. So there's two huge history marks.
Hey,
there.
I gotta get to the bartender. I gotta get another beer. I'll be back.
There's another Whitfield guy, another Pittsburgh, another Aliquippa guy.
Yeah, Aliquippa. Yep, you're
Ty
right.
Law going in.
Exactly. And then he went to Michigan. Nobody needs to know about that, but he went. And then he goes to the Patriots and he wins 3 Super Bowls. In the first Super Bowl that they won, he had an interception return for a touchdown. He picked off Kurt Warner, and then. I don't think he played in the second one, but then I don't think he played against the Eagles.
Just him and Rodney Harrison in that secondary.
Lawyer Malloy the first year. Rodney Harrison wasn't there for the first Super Bowl, but he was there for the. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. Yeah,
but still, those two back there, man in the back half. That's scary.
Yeah. Hey, we don't want to throw it there. Oh yeah, don't forget, don't throw it there, and just remember. Don't throw it there because some bitches will end up with the ball.
Oh, well, let's run it then, Coach. You got Teddy Bruschi. What are you, an idiot? Come on now.
You know, like when you look at some of the cut-ups, the number of interceptions he had just against Peyton Manning alone.
I think in the playoffs, in one game, he had 3 interceptions against him or something like that. He was the guy that Peyton had nightmares about before he went to a game against him.
Yeah. Hell of a player, and I love those little. During the game, they had a little interview with him, and of course, he's a quip.
He's a quip.
He's
buddy.
from Aliquippa, and just some of the little when he was playing midget football and stuff. That was pretty cool. He was a freaking man among boys then too.
Oh, he was a freak show
athlete. And then finally, one more player that I had because I had respect because I watched him was Kevin Malway. An offensive lineman who played for, holy crap, a long time as an offensive lineman with the Jets, the Titans. He played basically like all positions of the offensive line, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
Center, guard, tackle, I think he played.
He's best known, though, I think, as a center.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's how they have him listed as a player, is as a center.
Yeah.
So, he it's just he's a pretty special player. When you can play that long and be that effective, you got nothing but respect for somebody that played a game that long and to that level. I don't know how much more you can say about him. Was he one of the prototypical big style linemen? He's a 6'4" guy, but he wasn't a 300-pounder. So you got a guy who's 280, 6'4", 280, and to be dominant the way he was. You look at guys like Larry Brown and some of these big time.
Holy crap, Larry Brown! You can't talk about anyone his size.
I
really don't think
Trent Brown, who's currently playing, who was traded away from the Patriots, ended up with the Raiders.
I know, but Larry Brown was a freaking
he was
guard.
He was a freak,
man.
yeah.
And he could run a 4.5, I bet, if he got downhill.
Right, it's like a Volkswagen going downhill without.
No, it's
the brakes.
Larry Allen. It's not Larry Brown. What the hell are we talking about?
It's Larry Allen. Yep. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy watching his clips and stuff like that. Not so much as a player, but as a leader. You know what I mean? A leader on the field and having the level of respect that he had from his teammates and stuff like that's unparalleled. And it's not like unlike a lot of these other guys, but when you look at what these other guys do, they're in and around and are around the ball. They're highlighted, and offensive linemen generally aren't highlighted. And so when you can make the Hall of Fame as an offensive lineman, you've truly, truly earned your right. And I think that's special. I think that's a huge thing with players. I think those offensive linemen who have those celebrated careers are the most respected. It's not unlike Ed Reed and some of these other guys, but I don't know. I just hold something special for those old linemen that make it.
Altogether, a great group of Hall of Fame inductions.
Don't forget Champ Bailey.
I wasn't sure if you were going to bring him up, but Champ Bailey is probably one of the top 5 corners all time in my eyes.
It's just unfortunate that he did not play with a lot of good teams.
But that's the thing is, though, when you stand out, regardless of the team that you're playing on, and you stand out that well, and you continue to elevate
Tony's
the play.
a perfect example of that.
Right.
Many years of just awful teams, but who was the one shining example? Yeah, you have him on your
and I
team.
think Champ Bailey shines in that manner too. And didn't he play football? Did he play quarterback in college too? I think he played quarterback too. I think he played. Used him as
all
a
I know
dual
is that
threat
he
guy.
threw some shade at the Redskins, though, saying getting traded to Denver was the best decision ever.
It was for him.
It was the best decision ever. Throw some
shade
at the
Redskins.
Redskins.
I had not realized early in his career he actually was a skin.
Yeah, he
I had
actually
no idea.
was. Yeah. For I think 4 years or so. It was a short period of time, but the majority was with the Broncos.
Yeah, another impact player, another huge. When you talk about these kinds of guys, you think about playmakers outside of Kevin Mawai. You don't think about the impact they truly have on the game, and guys like Champ Bailey, he had a huge impact on the game, and you just shine as a sterling example of playing your position. And so you can't overlook a guy like that. You can't overlook ownership either. I mean, you look at Pat Bowlen and the things he did with the Broncos. Pretty good group of guys.
Yeah, no, the administration was also good. Pat Bowlen, he led the Broncos finally to Super Bowl wins.
For John.
Then Gil
that.
Brandt, who was a part of the Cowboys. We're not going to talk about that. But.
Yeah, but
moving on now from Hall of Fame.
You don't make the Hall of Fame unless you have an impact on whatever it is that you're doing.
29 years, I want to say. Yeah. He was ahead of the tape. He was ahead of the Cowboys for a long time. Yeah. Moving on to training camp a little bit. Some holdouts have now finally come back. Michael Thomas got paid this past week.
And he should have been. I totally agree with him getting paid. So
I mean, we were talking earlier at camp about how much production he produced for the Saints.
Oh, my God.
It was insane.
Yeah. I mean, the most receiving yards in the history of the organization. That's pretty big time.
No, he doesn't have more than Marquise Colston. There's no way. In just 2 years?
Yeah, in that short period of time, he's had more receptions, and more yards than in the history of the Saints. He had 1,400 receiving yards last year and like 125 catches. So it's thoroughly impressive, and he's consistently done that. So I don't feel badly about him being paid $100 million. I really don't. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about it, though, is when they interviewed him and they talked about it, are you happy? And he's like, I'm loving it. He goes, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to try and earn every penny that they gave me. And you kind of like that. You kind of like that. This guy's like, they paid me. I wanted this. They saw my value. They paid me. And I'm going to try and return the favor because
they got it done quick. They were like, we got to sign this guy.
Yeah,
he's worth it.
He's worth it.
We don't want to lose a guy like this.
Yeah.
And I think that you look at real quick, Yannick Ngakoue comes back to the Jags, but it looks like he's going to test free agency then next year as an unrestricted free agent. But you look at what Michael Thomas did with the Saints and how the Saints, they got it done quick and they signed him. Whereas you have these other teams like the Dallas Cowboys. They're like, so Ezekiel, you want to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys? Well, we've had Emmitt Smith who didn't hold out. We've had DeMarco Murray, who was a rushing champion.
Right.
We've had
Tony Dorsett.
Think.
Herschel Walker, Tony Dorsett. They've had several good guys there.
And Emmitt Smith leads the entire NFL in rushing yards all time. So
But
the
that would have been
Cowboys?
untouchable if Walter Payton was running behind that offensive line. He'd have had 27,000 yards rushing. Peyton played with. Peyton played with.
He didn't play with the Great Wall of Dallas.
He didn't play with any of those cats. But yeah. So,
and then who is the other one? Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
I don't
You know
understand
what?
that one
I
more
didn't.
than
I didn't see that one coming at all.
yeah, I really don't
I don't even know where
understand
it's
that.
coming from.
He wants to be paid with the league, the top
But
league.
he's not.
I mean, he's good, but he's been battled injury and all that stuff too. And
He's not a game changer, right? And the worst thing that happened was, guy from who's the running back for Rams? Well, I can name slipped my head.
Gurley.
Yeah, his injury when he got paid after that injury, or after he got paid with his injury, was the worst thing that could have happened.
Right.
For the running back market,
Right?
Because like they were saying that the running back market is got flooded now. Now the owners are trying to bring it down because they don't want to pay all these big times.
And it doesn't make sense
because you look what happened.
Yeah,
look what happened to Gurley. He never recovered even into
right.
the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you look at what happens to these running backs and stuff like that, and there are some durable backs, and there are some ones that play extended careers and stuff like that. But the vast majority of them, they just don't. And unfortunately, and this is terrible to say, I don't know that they're worth their value at that type of money. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at Le'Veon Bell, who got paid huge from the Jets and stuff like that. It remains to be seen, will he remain healthy his entire career with this big money that the Jets paid him?
He hasn't finished a full season in quite a few years, to be honest.
Right.
And that's what the Steelers were afraid of.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to when you have that many touches and you have that expectation on you to be that game changer and stuff like that. And while Melvin Gordon's a special athlete and stuff like that, in this day and age, I don't know that you can pay that much money to a young guy and expect to get the full value of the contract that you're going to pay him. And so he's going to continue to hold out. I wouldn't be surprised if he missed camp, or they did trade him. I mean, he asked for a trade, and they're like, no.
I mean, something also that's hurting them is finding all these like Tyreek Hills,
Yep.
Kareem Hunts in the late rounds. That's also hurting them because next year you can go find some Joe Schmo.
Yep.
In the 7th round, he might be the next.
Look out for the Bears with Montgomery kid from Iowa State.
Yeah,
they're going to make him into a star.
Hell, Philip Lindsay, the guy from the
Philip Lindsay from the Broncos. Yeah,
undrafted free agent,
right out of Colorado. Yeah.
So I mean,
and then he comes and stuns the league with his performance.
I mean. So, that's why owners are,
Yeah, if I can wait on somebody like that, maybe take a chance on somebody and give him a 2-year rookie contract undrafted or in the lower rounds or later rounds and get the same production, why should I pay $15 million, $14, whatever million to a guy who thinks he belongs in the upper echelon of running backs? I'm not in agreement with that. And we all know that the NFL is a business and it's about performance. And while he's done reasonably well, he's not worth, in my mind, he's not worth those top dollars, just not. So, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, well, training camp holdouts, that's the only big story for training camp, honestly.
Right now. I'm waiting for the injury bug to start creeping its ugly head into the scene and see what happens over the next couple of weeks, because I have a feeling some of that stuff's going to start popping up.
Well, Hard Knocks is going to start here soon too. You're also going to have that with the Raiders.
Oh my God, is that going to be a clusterfuck?
This is going to be glorious.
Get to see old Johnny Boy on the TV, John Gruden.
Yeah.
And I get to see the wonderful Antonio Brown on TV again.
Who's missed practice for like the last 3 days.
So
he couldn't get his shoelaces tight enough or whatever. I don't fucking know.
So, Coach, you wanted to slip something in, though, here real quick.
What's that?
The list or whatever that you had?
Oh, this list I saw on Yahoo
football?
Sports. Yahoo Sports. This Yahoo Sports is about as credible as Chris Sims and his quarterback list. But we found this list, and when I can't find it now, I'm looking.
You sent a picture.
I sent you guys a picture, but I didn't send myself a damn picture.
Right here.
All right. Oh, the most tortured NFL franchises, the most tortured NFL fan bases, sitting at number 1 of the New York Giants. Are you shitting me? Are you really?
We've only beaten Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they beat
twice.
they beat Tom Brady. In case you didn't know, we beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice.
Oh Lord, please help us.
Right.
We need wins.
Right. A couple of these other ones. Why is not the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns number 1?
I would have thought.
When you look at yes, the 49ers. The 49ers played the freaking Ravens, the freaking Brother Bowl. The 49ers were in the less than 10 years ago. The 49ers were in the Super Bowl.
The Green Bay Packers?
I guess Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers winning titles in the last 20 years.
Man.
Oakland Raiders, okay, but they're number
10.
10, okay.
They should be like top 5.
Well, the Lions should be number 1.
Lions should be number. If the Lions aren't number 1, and the one team that's absent from this list, and if they're not tortured, I don't know who the fuck is, are the Cleveland Browns. How is the Cleveland
How are they
Browns?
not number 1?
How are they?
They've only won 8 games in 3 years.
Number 1. Number 1.
I don't know how they are. Falcons, yeah. I mean, they played in the Super Bowl, and you allow Tom
Don't
Brady
fall
to
asleep. You need to stay alive for the second
right.
half.
I fell asleep, and then Tom Brady mounts an epic comeback to end all comebacks. Bengals. If you're not a Cincinnati fan, holy cow! I mean,
I'm okay with that.
The curse of Burfict.
I'm okay with Cincinnati being on that list. I'm
just saying, I can see them on the list.
It makes sense.
I can
why they're
see
on
the
list.
Vikings on this list. I can see the Falcons, the Lions, and they even have the Jets. How can you not be a Jets fan and be super? How can you be so proud of your team as a Jets?
I mean, I would throw the Dolphins on there too.
Yeah, Miami should be on this list too.
Every team in the NFC.
I put the Bills on there.
I would say everybody on the
AFC
AFC East except the Patriots.
Right.
I mean, these in general.
And they're an exercise in futility. Over the last 10 years, it's loss after loss after loss piling up. They can beat the Patriots in the regular season. They just can't win any other. They can't beat anybody else. But
I agree with the Redskins being on there.
I mean, I think
them.
I think the Redskins. I mean, go back to RG3. They made the playoffs. It was a wild card game or whatever. RG3 goes down with a knee injury. He's never the same, and the Redskins have never been back since.
Oh, look at Alex Smith last year.
Alex Smith and his pretzel leg. Holy shit! I saw this. I saw that article about him where he had his. He was taking a step forward, and they took that. God, I'm telling you, he had this freaking metal contraption that was attached to his leg, holding this thing. I mean, he was holding it up, and I was like, holy shit, has that guy been through a lot? I don't know if he'll ever play the game again, but I'm telling you what, if he steps on the football field again and plays it down, he's got my ultimate respect. Because that coming back from an injury that ugly to play again is that's epic. That's what a hero is. That's what an NFL player who wants it bad enough is all about. And I thought that was good. But I wanted to bring up that freaking Yahoo list because I thought it was such shit. And there was a whole bunch of people. I read the comments from some of that, and I was like, whoever. Yahoo should fire the dude that made that fucking list. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right,
what they were thinking.
We're running close to 30 minutes right now, so I'm actually going to skip the MLB trade deadline because we got to get to the movies and we got to get to
we got
the
thumbs
beers.
up and thumbs down.
So last segment, new segment, Hops of the Week.
Hops of the Week.
This is a new segment that I came up with and Coach agreed because he better fucking do it. And it's going to be just some small topics that we're going to throw out there. It could be anything. We could talk about aliens, Area 51, sports, whatever, sex, whatever. It doesn't matter. So, and we're just going to throw it out there. It's like, hey, this is very interesting. But it's not like a deep discussion like we go into detail. So, my Hops of the Week, actually, Steven Jackson signed a one-day contract with the LA Rams, and the NFL gave him a drug test coming up. And Steven Jackson told the NFL to shove it up their ass, basically.
How stupid is that?
It's a one-day contract.
He's retiring from the Rams. He's going to sign a one-day contract, and they issued a drug test.
Well, there was a video of him running like a 20-yard run, and I bet the NFL took notice of that and said, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And just said, put him on the list. And I thought that was very smart of the NFL, right? Now that they're out there just giving out random drug tests to retired people.
Yeah.
My other Hops of the Week is Fortnite. Fortnite was on ESPN last week. The World Cup for esports was on the ESPN main channel. Hey, you may think it's boring, but the kid who won it won $3 million.
Yeah, fuck him too.
$3 million.
Okay.
And he's only 16 years old, man.
Yeah, there's 350 million people living in the United States. He's one. Fuck him.
Hey, I got to give him props. Come on now. Don't be a hater.
No, come on, fans.
Don't
you
be
guys
a
over there
hater.
at the bar, don't look at us like that. Fucking assholes over there at the bar. Look
be
at
a
them.
hater.
They're just chuckling at us.
16 years old and I won $3 million. He's going to be a very popular kid at school. I can tell you that.
Why would he even go to school? I got $3 million, and that's just the beginning.
I just walk around with it in my backpack, honestly.
Well, you got to have freaking show up money, right? I mean, you know, it's not.
You
like,
have to qualify for this thing,
right? But it's not like the only one person out of all these little freaking dorks that are playing Fortnite, all these high school kids that are playing Fortnite. It's not like they just paid $3 million. Hey, the rest of you go the fuck home. Go back to freaking school. Do an algebra.
Even
or
if you
something.
finish in last place, you still
hope
get
you pass English class,
man.
asshole.
50?
Yeah, it was a $35 million prize pool, and if you finished in last place,
That's more than the women's World Cup team.
Yes, exactly, it is. It says something.
I bet you the women who play in Fortnite want to be paid the same.
No, there were.
Oh, that's right.
There were no women who qualified for it. And there wasn't
Don't say
any.
that. That's discrimination. Don't even say that.
Oops.
We don't talk politics on this show, but don't get started with that.
That was my hops of the week.
They made
though.
more. They made more money.
Fortnite and drug tests.
Nice.
You
Viggs?
got one?
Viggs?
Oh yeah,
I want to
that's
hear it.
right.
Mr. Sensitive over here. I know you. So, were you tuned into ABC Monday and Tuesday night around 8 o'clock?
No.
So you weren't watching The Bachelorette?
That's
You
Are
didn't-
you kidding me? I've been married for 27 years. Who the fuck watches a Bachelorette?
Who won it? Did it finally end?
Well, it did end.
It did?
And she picked a guy.
Oh, she picked a guy,
He
not a
per-
girl?
No, not
Oh,
a girl.
okay, we're
They
equal
don't have that yet.
opportunity.
This is 2019. But
We
no,
have that. Trust me,
well,
buddy. Maybe he
well-
identified as a woman, and it was. Never
Well,
mind.
it gets good here. So he proposed, right?
He proposed. She said no.
She said yes.
Oh.
About a day later, 2 days later, this People magazine story comes out that he has a girlfriend back home.
No, they investigated his ass.
No.
Yes.
Now
So-
Shit hits
So
the fan,
she
man.
actually came to the magazine and she put it out there, basically saying that he was out there just to publicize his country career because he's a country music singer and he was doing the show.
Was it
just,
Tennessee Jed? Was
It was Jed. It was
Tennessee
Jed. Yes,
Oh,
it was
man.
Jed. It was
Who the
Jed.
fuck is Jed?
That's what they call
Jed
it, Tennessee
wa-
Jed.
Did
Jed
he
wa-
shoot the ground and find fucking oil or something? He was shooting at the ground.
Don't be hating right now.
So it gets better, right?
Up comes the bubbling crude. Come on.
So she basically confronts him about it, and he spills the beans, and they have this big long conversation. She takes the ring off, and they go to the finale here, the live finale, and she basically confronts him, and they talk about it, and he basically says he's sorry, and he wishes her the best. Then all of a sudden, at the end, the runner-up guy, Tyler, comes out, okay? And now, all of a sudden, Hannah, the bachelorette, says, I wouldn't mind going out and get a drink with you. And so Tyler was seen leaving her pad that next morning. So
I guess if that's something you're into, I guess that's all right. But Jesus, really, that's a hops of the week.
How about
You know
that
what?
I
drama?
said
That-
anything,
that-
damn it.
that-
How about the shittiest fucking idea for a show called The Bachelorette and some freaking scamming dude? It took ABC to investigate him. Their crack investigative team tracking him down. What a tool. Whatever. You get what you get, man. You know what I mean?
All right, so you sound like a smart ass. What's your freaking hops of the week?
Hey, my hops of the week goes back to the Hall of Fame game and my boy Vic Fangio from the Bears, who's now the head coach of the Broncos. That motherfucker's so badass. He was trying to pass a kidney stone and he was coaching on the sideline. He was in the hospital all day trying to pass a kidney stone and couldn't do it. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go coach a game tonight. And he went and he coached at the game.
I don't know. Tennessee Jed sounds a lot
Yeah.
more strong to
Oh,
me,
you
man.
guys blow. I'm going to need another beer after that. Holy cow.
Kidney stone
Or the
publicizing
Bachelorette.
country career. I don't know. Country career sounds pretty good.
I just thought it was a man kind of thing. You know what I mean? Vic Fangio trying to pass a kidney stone. He's
It's
like
American badass right there.
Yeah, but I feel for him. It was his first opportunity to stand on the sideline as the head man. He was the defensive coordinator, the architect of the Bears defense last year. Did a phenomenal job, and with that came a head coaching opportunity with the Broncos. And then you come up with this, and any guy that's ever suffered from a kidney stone has always said that it's one of the most painful experiences that you can have. And it's a comfort thing, and there's no comfort from a kidney stone. And here is this guy standing on a sideline after days of minicamp, preparing his team, trying to play in this Hall of Fame game, trying to get his team to execute and perform.
And he's trying to piss the demon out of him.
Yeah,
basically.
he's trying to drop a freaking marble out of the end of his junk. And how do you do that? How do you?
Jeez.
That's called a man. That's what I said, and that was my hops of the week.
All right.
It's because Vic Fangio was trying to freaking
Hops of the week. Very good first week. We go from drug test to Fortnite to Tennessee Jed to pissing out your junk. All right, it's a good week.
try not to pass blood with it at the same time. You ever take that pee and you're like, Jesus, that's a lot of blood.
No, I haven't, because I'm still young like that. Jeez, man.
Maybe when you get older.
Okay, movie time. We got war movies. We have a different type of thing though, because World War II movies.
Before we get to that, I just wanted to say, hey, we've been drinking beer during the show and stuff like that. We've been sampling this, and we tested John Riggins' 4th and 1 Pilsner from Escutcheon Brewing in Winchester, Virginia, and we found out a couple of weeks ago that it's going away. That they're going to stop making.
Really?
They're going to stop making 4th and 1, and they created a new brand, a new flavor called Fancy Clancy, based on a guy who is a peanut vendor and a beer vendor, or not a peanut vendor, a beer vendor at Camden Yards. And we went there and we tried it, and I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to the bartender about getting Fancy Clancy, and guess what that son of a bitch did? He went and got some. So I'm going to go get a Fancy Clancy. If anybody's interested in a Fancy Clancy, I'm going to go get this while CJ gets this freaking next topic up to the bat, cuz I'm telling you what, it's a good beer. It's a damn good beer. And I'm sorry to see John Riggins go, but hey, all good things come to an end. So, I don't mean to hold you up, but that's what I was going to do. I'm going to go talk to the bartender right now. If anybody wants Fancy Clancy, let's get it done.
No, that's perfectly okay, Coach. We're going to go ahead and start the movie, but we actually got our first ever email, because you lazy bastards out there wouldn't send us any other ones. Had to have Biff send me his own movies. He actually sent me some movies from the horror movies last week, and he had some of the same ones for us, but he had one different one, and he said it was Wrong Turn. And I looked it up, and I was like, Biff, this movie is absolute dog shit. Like, this movie is ridiculously bad, because it's just about mountain people in the woods just jumping out at people and killing them. Dude, you could watch fucking Leprechaun for that and just see a little leprechaun dude jumping out at you.
It's not like The Last House on the Left or something like that.
Yeah, like The Girl Next Door or something like that. It doesn't compare.
Was it Hills Have Eyes?
No, he didn't have that. He had Nosferatu also on there.
But
But
you want to see a creepy...
I've seen a couple of kids.
Side note,
No, go ahead.
Netflix, The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, yeah?
You guys got to
Good.
see that if
Good.
you like the creepy stuff.
You know what? We're going to add one of those topics to the show, the new freaking Netflix series that they have and the movies that they have, Netflix originals. That's got to be a topic that we talk about, because there's some really good stuff at Netflix. They do an amazing job with some of the movies they have.
But today we're going to do war movies, but specifically not World War II movies, because that's in its own category, because there's so many directors out there who keep making World War II movies, and we're just going to do other than World War II
We're
today.
gonna save that. The Buzzman's going to come back, and we're going to do a show with him. We're going to do World War II with him.
Because he's as old as World War II, so he's perfect. So he's perfect for it. So today, same as last time, basically throw out your favorite
Did you see
movies
that?
out there.
Vic Fangio was on the TV from inside. I wonder if he passed that kidney stone. They were just talking.
He's had a couple days
We got
to do
NFL
it.
Total Access here at the bar and stuff, and they're talking about.
I don't know how people watch this all day. It's just the same
man.
stuff all day.
It's on a loop, but it's great. If you're a freaking football junkie, this shit's good.
So my first war movie that I'm going to throw out there that
right.
isn't World War II.
It's good.
That isn't World War II. Is Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket, like. The second half of the movie, everyone's like, okay, there's the war part, but the first half is the best part of the movie.
It's boot camp.
I know it's
boot camp
boot camp
at the beginning.
But you can rest in peace, Gunnery Sergeant Emily.
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, passed away. I think it was last year or the year before. Passed away. But in this movie, the lines, the quotes that he said still resonate with me, and I think it was him who said, I basically just did the lines by myself, winged it basically, and said some pretty hurtful things, but they were hilarious if you look on it. You look like the kind of guy who would fuck a man in the ass and not give him the common courtesy to give him a reach around.
I'll keep my eye on you. Jesus Christ, Private Paul, you look like a modern art masterpiece.
Yeah, he was like, "Did your parents have any children that live?" "Sir, yes, sir." "I bet they regret that. You're so ugly, you could be a modern art masterpiece. What's your name, fat body?"
Sir, Private Leonard Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah,
Only faggots and sailors are named Lawrence.
But that movie also was perfect because it brought out like, this is what you get when you go into boot camp, okay?
Yeah.
These are gunnery sergeants that are there to prove you guys like you're going into battle, you might die. So you need to grow a pair.
But the thing about it was, it was supposed to be set in the Vietnam era, and the Marine Corps in the 1960s is a far cry from where it is today. And what they could do back then is a far cry from what they can do today. I would say that the Marine Corps is still as hardcore as it's ever been, but it's a kinder, gentler, more disciplined military than what they could get away with. The things that R. Lee Ermey said in that movie would not be said today. That you're not going to hear those words come out of his mouth.
No chance.
And some of the battle sequences, the fighting scenes at the end, they weren't bad. I mean, there was some pretty good stuff in there. The ending is a little creepy, a little weird, but other than that, I had that on my honorable mentions list just simply because of the beginning of the movie. That's the first hour of the movie is terrific with Matthew Modine and R. Lee Ermey. They that was a great give and take relationship. And then Private Powell, what a character to have in there. The most disturbing part, obviously, is where freaking Powell,
he goes insane.
Private Powell's had enough, and he's had enough being beat down, and he sits on a shitter and puts a freaking rifle in his mouth, and after he kills freaking Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. But definitely a good movie. Yeah, I like it. What else you got?
What? Oh, for movies?
Yeah.
Next one is a recent one, but it's a very brutal movie. It's called Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg, and this is a more modern war movie.
Marcus Luttrell, yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Luttrell, who, if you look at Mark Wahlberg and look at the real Marcus Luttrell, he should have not been casted for Marcus Luttrell because this whole movie is just about Mark Wahlberg and them running for cover constantly, just completely falling back. And Mark Wahlberg is a little guy. And if you look at the real Marcus Luttrell, this dude is a big son of a bitch. It's like, how did they not hit you, man? And he's just falling down cliffs, taking constant fire RPGs, and they're out in the open too.
Yeah.
And it was all just a reconnaissance mission, basically.
Yeah, I watched that movie, and then I read some of the backstory. I read some of the backstory, and I remember when Marcus Luttrell went to the University of Alabama, he went to Tuscaloosa, Nick Saban brought him in, and he talked to the players about what it meant to have, what it meant to overcome and to be in situations like that. And he talked about his recovery and his survival in that stuff. And just some of the things that he said, it was just freaking amazing. I was just sat there. I couldn't say anything. I mean, I had to pause it and rewind it and listen to it again to hear him talk about his experiences. Nothing short of fucking amazing. And while Wahlberg is a great actor, I love him in those action movies and stuff. He does a great job. Obviously Hollywood can't put a candle to the actual struggle that Marcus Luttrell went through. So I don't know, but a fantastic movie. I did not have that on my list. So definitely good stuff there. I like that. I did not have that on my list.
Yeah, like I said, it's a more modern shooter, so I can relate to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Seeing the types of tactics and the guerrilla warfare that the Taliban was using against them, and just the rain of fire that constantly kept coming down on them.
Just amazing. The struggle he went through to survive is nothing short of fucking amazing. I don't know how else to explain it.
And then finally,
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even sit back and I couldn't even wrap my mind around being in that situation. Not even close. I mean, I had diarrhea once, and that was tragic.
It's like, please just kill me.
Right. I had an upset stomach, and I had the flu, and I crapped my pants. But look what he did. Okay, let's get over your little bellyache, Johnny.
Yeah, I know. My third one, though, a little bit more, not as modern, but Black Hawk Down. I have it number 3.
Man, fantastic flick.
Great movie.
You really get scared seeing that just right in the heart of just the middle of it. it's very scary seeing that hawk go down, and you're basically just surrounded.
And
on
you
all
knew right
sides.
away. You're like, oh, those guys are in bad shape. And the thing about it, that's another movie. That's another movie that was very real because it was publicized. You could see that it was seen by a lot of people. I remember when those bodies were paraded around, and they literally had our soldiers and they paraded them around, and it shocked America when you see that kind of stuff. But one of the things that I really, really enjoy about that movie is the tactical side of what they do to get those men out of there and the lengths they'll go to go and rescue their
And it
fellow
wasn't
soldiers.
easy.
Oh my God. I can't. The director said, okay, we're going to fire 1,000,000 rounds in this scene. So don't twist an ankle on all the shell casings that are going to be laying around. Don't slip and fall. The explosions, the gunshots, it was a long movie, but it didn't feel long because it was just packed with so much shit in it. Another great movie. Not on my list, and so I'm kind of pissed that I didn't even pick those two out. But yeah, that was definitely a good pick. Good pick, CJ.
Well, I'll wait for my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, we'll throw the honorable mentions in at the end. Awesome.
All right. Well,
All right, Biggs.
All right.
Let us have it.
First one's Mel Gibson. What do you think? Braveheart.
See, my boy over here has not seen Braveheart, and I have been. He watches fucking YouTube all the time. I'm like, take an afternoon and watch Braveheart and tell me you're not.
It's a long movie.
It's a long
I
movie.
hear it's like 3.5
It's an
hours.
epic.
It's a
It's
long
an
but,
epic.
But it's.
I love that story behind it because as a history student many years ago, I read a book about William Wallace, and it was written with an English style flair to it. It was difficult to read and understand because of all the locations and places like that were a part of it, and many of the parts of the movie were displayed in the book, but in a different way. But what a great flick, man! But it's like Tom Cruise playing Lee Child's Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher's in the book is 6'5", 250, and Tom Cruise is what, 5'9", 170, 180 tops. Mm-hmm. And the same thing, Mel Gibson is this 5'10", 180-pound guy playing what was, by all accounts in history, a giant. I mean, they talked about William Wallace being 6'7", 6'8", and being 300 pounds. Yeah. I mean, he was a mountain of a man. But how about this is the kick-ass scenes in that movie.
It's been many years since I saw it, but
it's freaking awesome movie. Yeah. What a great movie.
Man,
what else you got?
Spartans, tonight we die.
300, yeah.
In hell. Yeah, 300. Yeah, you can't forget that epic battle scene.
Yeah, the Battle of Thermopylae.
I mean,
oh my
gore.
God. The CGI,
everywhere.
The CGI. How badass is freaking Gerard Butler as King Leonidas?
They give him abs.
Yeah,
they gave everybody abs.
Dude, who does not want to be King Leonidas just for an afternoon? I just want to go around.
The best scene I think in that movie is whenever they send in the what do they call them? The dark. It's at night. They send them in the hooded men. I forget what it is, but they send in the Persian. The Persians get sent in they're like the dark masks and everything, and they send in the giant and the ugly ass giant, and the Spartans just slaughter them, and it's one of the baddest scenes. It's a great scene.
I think one of my favorite scenes in that movie is near the beginning where the Persians enter Sparta. And they basically ask him to kneel down, and he's like, "You bring the heads of severed kings to my kingdom, and expect me to kneel down?" And he looks back at his wife, and she goes,
"Madness."
Yeah, okay.
This is Sparta.
Right, and he fucking kicks that some bitch down the well. I was like, "Yeah, I get it. It's on.
Yeah.
And then you take 300 guys and whip ass. Yeah. Unfortunately, a tragedy, a tragic end to Leonidas.
Yeah, you can only get so far with 300 men. Right. You really can't.
Yeah, but they whip some ass, dude. When you can make a wall of bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The CGI in that movie is incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So you're going to save your honorable mentions?
Well, I got one more.
All right.
Another Mel Gibson one.
Yeah?
The Patriot.
What a great flick! I use that movie all the time. As a teacher, I use that movie on a regular basis at the beginning of the school year when we talk about the revolution and the turmoil that's found. What a great flick! That's one of those movies I always used to tell CJ and he's like, I'm not a child, you're my child, when he yells at him. I love that. My wife and I love that scene. Just that I don't know, that fatherly bond and stuff like that. I what a great flick, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mel Gibson puts out a good flick, because I got a Mel Gibson flick on mine right here too. So here's mine, 1979. CJ's I made him probably watch it many years ago. Apocalypse Now. Oh,
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando plays a small
Martin
role at the end.
Sheen.
Martin Sheen plays the one at this CIA operative who's got to go take out this rogue colonel.
Yeah.
He's got to take him out, and just the whole movie itself. And that's where
Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I love the smell of napalm
That's
in
a
the
classic
morning.
line.
Charlie doesn't surf, and we're gonna do this, and I'll put that boat down anywhere I want, young captain, that kind of thing. And what a great flick. Robert Duvall as the colonel of the air cavalry. And when they come over the rise and they're coming into that beachhead, and that whole sequence as they film those helicopters coming in, and we're going to go psychological warfare, war hop, and shall we dance, and they just play the music, and those helicopters come in there, and the whole sequence of events. And as you talked about with Arlie Ermy is one of the chopper pilots that's in the movie. He's in the movie as a chopper pilot.
He's in all these damn movies.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne, a very young Lawrence Fishburne, is in that movie too. Yeah. He ends up in not too good a shape, but just an action-packed movie, just crazy story, really good stuff. My second one is going back to the Civil War, Gettysburg, the Epic of Gettysburg, with once again Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen plays Robert E. Lee. I was thinking of Longstreet. James Longstreet's played by what the hell's his name? He plays.
Let's see. Is it Jeff Daniels?
No. Jeff Daniels plays Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, head of the 20th Maine, that saves the Union forces at Gettysburg on the back of Little Round Top. He plays Longstreet. It's Tom Berenger. Tom Berenger. What a great role for Tom Berenger. The thing about Gettysburg is that Gettysburg is filled with all of these emotional linkages, because a lot of these guys were from the class of 1861 in the Civil War, and many they went to school together. They were at West Point together, and then they picked up sides. They chose sides, and then they had to fight each other, and it was a brother against brother kind of war. Yeah. And there was a lot of relationships and stuff. But what a great story! The one thing that gets me is the one part where Pickett's charged. And if you've ever get a chance to go to Gettysburg and stare out over the Virginia Monument at Gettysburg, it's just stunning to think that they went out across that field and fought this battle and got their shit torn apart, because Union forces had the high ground and just literally cut them to pieces. And that represents the end of Confederate forces, that they can't win, and now it's about retreat. And one of the cool parts is where Robert E. Lee comes to George Pickett, and he says, "Sir, you need to get your troops together." And he looks at him and he says, "Sir, I have no more troops." And they realize that it's been a debacle for them. But what a great movie! I love Gettysburg. It's long, and but it's an epic, and I love it, man. And then my last one is a Mel Gibson movie, and I can't get enough of it because I think of my dad about this movie, and it's We Were Soldiers, where the first combat regiments enter Vietnam and get into this epic battle, and it's another long movie, but what a great movie. Like I said, freaking Mel Gibson makes a damn good war movie.
He does.
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I just can't get enough of the emotional side of that. And one of the reasons why I think it's because of his leadership, because he stars in the movie as well, and it's the leadership of the colonel that's involved. And I don't know, I just can't get enough of that. So We Were Soldiers got to sit up on. But I think when we look at all of these, I don't know that one sits atop Crazy Horse Mountain just by itself. Apocalypse Now, I think, has to be there because it's just a generational movie that a lot of people have seen. But I think any one of these could sit there. My honorable mentions, like you hit before, was Full Metal Jacket, Patriot, Viggs had Patriot, and then one of the other ones, 1986, is freaking Platoon.
I have that as an honorable mention as well.
Yeah, you know, that's a
Platoon.
good flick too. It's not.
I put that as an honorable mention because Full Metal Jacket just has too many funny lines.
And I just remember my dad talking about Platoon. He's like, half the shit in that movie's not real. You would never go on. You would never go out.
You would
on
never
patrol.
crouch down in the middle of an open fire and wave to the freaking helicopters going away.
or not to mention that you smoking on patrol and
Yeah.
like
Let
that
me
shit
get
ain't
winded
happening.
here after I just got shot up a little bit.
Right, but there were some classic scenes in that movie. Another one, I still think it's worth a mention anyway to put up there. But those were mine. So definitely Apocalypse Now, Gettysburg, We Were Soldiers. My honorable mentions we already talked about. So anybody else got honorable mentions?
Gettysburg was another honorable mention.
Man,
So
what a
Platoon and
great
Gettysburg.
flick! I could watch that over and over again, in pieces or in whole.
It is.
Yeah.
I had American Sniper too.
Oh.
When I saw that in theaters,
Oh yeah.
there was complete silence.
I was
when we
bugged by
left.
the end. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, you know, he had a controversial life, you know.
Yeah.
Chris Kyle, his whole last couple of years of his life, and then the tragedy of being killed. But what he was trying to do for other soldiers, you know, there are a lot of people that loved him, and there was a lot of people that disliked what he stood for and the things that he was into. But you know, what he was trying to do, help soldiers overcome the horrors of battle by, you know, hey, let's go out to these shooting ranges, let's shoot guns, let's just go back and relieve the tension, deal with this PTSD shit that a lot of guys deal with. And I don't want to be a downer, and I'm going to be done talking about that, but that's a great flick. No, there's no fucking way.
Go get the beers.
Yeah,
then.
we got to get 6 beers. We got to get that bartender. Well, that son of a bitch is slow, isn't he? I don't know what the hell he's doing back there.
So, yep, 6 beers time now. I'm going to go ahead and put on the porno music. Turn up the volume a little bit. Handpicked these beers out today, so we'll have to see if they are good. A lot of IPAs this time, and we got some orange slices.
This
What?
This is some.
I told you, man, it's porno music. It really is.
Johnny boy, what kind of?
That's what we use.
Well, we can't put copyrighted music
We at the
in
Bunny
here.
Ranch right now, or what? Like that's an ad.
Bunny Ranch. I like that. Let's call it that. Viggs, you just changed the name, put the Bunny Ranch music on.
What?
That's what we're going to call. No, this is what we're going to call this, the Bunny
The
Ranch
Bunny
music.
Ranch music, Jesus.
All right, so we want to start with an IPA, or do we want
That's
to?
fine.
You want to start with one? Let's start with one. Man, I love this brewery. I love this brewery. Port City Brewing. Port City Brewing is in Alexandria, Virginia, and I'm telling you what, they make a great beer. This company, they need a pat on the back. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to drink our IPAs with a little bit of an orange slice. So we decided we'd get a few things together and pass our orange slice around. Just so you season your glass a little, season your cup. And then we'll pour a little bit in there. Oh, shit, party
Thank
foul.
God that was not open.
God.
Damn, holy shit, that bartender's terrible, isn't
Is
he?
he need a?
Haven't even taken a sip of the drink yet.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. So what I was going to do is I was going to season my glass a little bit, and then I'm going to top it off with about 4 ounces of this beer, just to freaking knock some of the bitters down. I know IPAs are generally a little more bitter than other beers, and that's the barley. They get a little hoppy, but so Port City's a great brewing company in Alexandria, Virginia. We've tested a number of their beers, and I don't think they've had a bad one yet. So here we go, Port City. This is Monumental IPA. And I could hammer a bunch of them.
Oh,
I
that's
believe I
lovely.
could drink a bunch of them.
It's not bad.
That's
I'm
not-
usually not too big, and maybe this orange does take some of that bit.
I think that orange slice, the citric acid
It really
knocks
does.
down the freaking bite.
It's not as like.
But then again, it could be
It could be just.
It could be just Port City
Yeah.
does great beer, because every one that we've tasted, they got a Port City Porter. I'm telling you what, I could drink a bunch of them. Very good, very smooth. Port City Monumental IPA, 6.3% alcohol by volume, made right there in Alexandria, Virginia. If you like an IPA, that is definitely a great beer. I thoroughly enjoy that. Man, Patrick's missing out, chump.
Softy.
Oh, definitely good. Let's get ourselves the next one up. I forgot to throw an orange slice for you. I didn't want to keep doing the same glass. I'll get us different orange slices. I left glasses.
Bartender. Bartender. We need more glasses.
Yeah, I know. I left it over there on the fucking behind the bar over there. What a dumbass. All right, another company that we've really enjoyed
listeners,
drinking with.
he keeps calling himself a dumbass. He's the bartender.
Shut up. Well, we are in a bar, and I can see it over there. But the next one is called Northern Lights IPA, made by Star Hill Brewery, another company that we've had a lot of success with. This one's 6.2% alcohol by volume. Star Hill Brewery's made in Charlottesville, Virginia. So we're getting ready to test this one out here. Let's pour this one. Oh, definitely the same golden texture. Definitely. While you guys pour that around, let's see if we can't get some new glasses.
Bottle was definitely kind of cool here. It's the I feel like I'm in like Cabela's looking at that bottle.
Yeah, that's very Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah. Smells interesting. It's like,
Yeah, that one's not bad at all either. The I'm telling you, the orange, it really takes down the
orange. Yes, I would agree. Yeah,
it helps a lot because
you can't really taste the
bitters,
bite. Yeah,
that bitters stuff. And that was one of the thing about IPAs. I'm not a big IPA guy, and it has a lot to do with the IBUs. And when you get high IBUs in the 90s, you're getting a very bitter beer. But when you talk to guys who like the IPA style beer, they like it because they're looking for a certain flavor, and they're sampling the beers for that flavor, that draw, something about the beer that pulls them in. We tested one last week where the Buzzman and CJ had talked about that being sweet, and when I tasted it, it was a very bitter thing. And I think it once it hits your flavor, when it hits your taste buds, that it gets offset by certain things.
it was like a sweet tart for you, basically. Like it was very potent for you.
See, that's another good one, isn't it?
Yeah, I said it
Damn,
was.
that's
yeah.
good. Star Hill Brewery, Charlottesville, Virginia. Man, that's good. Wow, I like that. Man, we got two great ones right there at the top there. So let's hit this third IPA. And the reason why I picked this one, just simply because it had a chick on the front of it, and it looked cool. It was military style, and I figured since we were doing a military show,
double D's.
Double D.
Yeah. I see double D's.
I see that double D, double IPA.
Her parents named her
Yeah.
Deanie Davis. Uncle Sam assigned her call letters double D.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, listen to the
What
music.
kind of name is Danny?
Listen to the music, too.
I know. We at the Bunny Ranch, Bubba. Huh?
You can get double D, double IPA at the Bunny Ranch, I'm sure. But this is brewed and bottled. This is Old Dominion Brewing. This is in Dover, Delaware. I liked it just simply because it had a World War II theme, and we were talking war movies today.
Little pin up on the front.
This is a little more bitter. This is 90 IBUs. That's the bitter units that are on there. And this one's 8% alcohol by volume. So this one's probably got a little punch, but same great golden color to it. Let's see what this orange slice does to this bitters on this. It's probably pretty hoppy beer, but let's see what it does.
Let's see right here.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh, did Double D get a hold of you right there?
Yeah, I can feel her.
Oh.
She's up against me. She's up against me. We can't even dance together. She's so. But this is good, man. Man, this is going to be a hard pick. I was worried about our IPAs. I wanted to season glasses and try it this way, but that's not too bad. I like that.
I don't know about this one.
What?
In comparison to the other ones,
I still like.
I still like the first
one.
Well,
Yeah.
this is a double IPA, and the bitters are up on this one. This is 90 IBUs, where the other ones were 70.
maybe I'm just not a bitter beer man.
But that's a lot of what IPAs do, or IPAs offer, is that bitterness because of the hops, the hoppiness of it. But I like that. That's not bad at all. Pass that back here. That's Dominion Brewing in Dover, Delaware. So far, where are we sitting with our IPAs? We tested 3 IPAs today.
I think that's fine, right as we have it.
That's the order right now. That
Yeah,
I like it too.
the first, second,
CJ,
and third
we're seeing
one.
eye to eye right now.
Yeah, I really
right?
think in terms of what we thought the first one was with the orange, it took a deep charge. The second one, it almost caught it, but it wasn't as good. And then the third one, I guess I'm just not a bitter beer man. I guess not.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. It's no fancy Clancy, but it's pretty good. All right, so we're gonna go away. We're gonna go away from the IPAs. Those are 3 IPAs: Port City Monumental IPA, Star Brewery's Northern Lights, and Double D Double IPA from Old Dominion Brewing. Here we go, Hardywood. Now we did Hardywood once before. And
What a name.
And
Hardywood.
Hardywood makes a great beer. So this is called Single. It's a Belgian-style blonde ale, and it's 6.2% alcohol by volume, and it's really low with the bitter. So this one's a lot less. This one is down into the 30s, 30 IBUs. We've tested other ones from Hardywood, and they do a great job. This is a great beer, so hopefully they'll keep up their tradition. Look at that golden pour right there. That's really nice. There's your Hardywood Single.
Oh. Yeah.
Is it Single or Single? Single?
Single.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's hard. It's
Single.
It's Single. Instead of Single, it's Singel.
They were drunk when they were coming up with the name.
Maybe they were
Right.
drinking some of their own beers. Belgian style wheat. That's a blonde ale. Got a little bit of a bite at the end of it, but not too bad. I'm not going to sit there and say that this is their best product.
It's not bad.
But Hardywood is made right here in Richmond, Virginia.
I'm not feeling Hardy Wood. I'm feeling Softy Wood right now.
Yeah, well, you drink enough beers and you'll be softy for sure. We've had that issue before.
Man!
Not bad. Not
Is
bad.
there Chubby Wood?
No, it's called Hardwood. No, it's Hardywood's Hard. Hard. And it's probably spelled Harde.
Hard.
Not bad.
What soundtrack at this bunny ranch are we listening to?
It's just for the background music.
Who listens to the music when you're at the Bunny Ranch anyway, right?
Double D's now.
You should be having the Hardy Wood going on
Yeah.
at the Bunny Ranch.
Now, I'm slowly becoming a fan of these wheat beers, and one of the companies that does a great job with this is freaking Dogfish Head. This is a Belgian-style wheat beer that they have. It's a difficult name to say. It's Namest White.
Namaste?
Namest White, Dogfish Head. And this is also another craft beer from Milton, Delaware. So Dogfish Head has become very popular in our area. Dogfish Head, this is Namest White Belgian-style wheat beer. Very golden color, very light pour. Let's see what we got with this one. Not much. There's not much to hit the nose or anything with this.
Yeah, I think that's Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. What did you say, CJ? Namaste?
I would have to,
Namaste.
yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it looks like
Alright.
It would sound stupid if you just
Namaste.
said, give me the,
Namaste.
give me the
Get that
Nam-
damn Bangladeshian out of my face.
But it is Delaware, for crying out loud. Maybe it is Namist. I don't know.
Damn
But
Namist.
there isn't anything particularly strong in terms of a smell or a scent off of it. But it's another Belgian style wheat. Very similar to the Hardywood. Very similar to
Very
that one.
light.
See, this is lighter than the other one.
It's lighter
It's
than the
lighter.
Hardy-
It's definitely
lighter.
lighter than the other one.
Definitely like 'em.
See, this is something you could drink a couple of these on a nice, like, hot summer day.
Yep, on the back porch.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I would be curious. It has an orange slice. You know
like-
what? I got an orange slice. You want to hit an orange slice on this thing a little bit or whatever?
Huh?
I'm gonna try.
Let's see what the.
Let's get an orange slice on that thing and see what it has. I get a small slice.
Yeah. Hey, so it says it's brewed with dried orange flesh and peel.
Yeah, but you can.
Fresh cut lemongrass, a bit of peppercorns, and a healthy dose of good karma. Namaste.
I hit your glass with a little bit of orange. Go ahead and pour a little bit of that in there. We've got some extras. We got a little bit of extra. I don't want to overpower it with too much orange. I put a little bit of orange in there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think
nice.
the wonder fruit is orange slice when it comes to beer. I mean, a lot of people do that, but let's see. Man, I'll tell you what, orange slices do wonders to beer. Whoever thought that, you know?
Where'd you hear that from?
I was doing some reading, and then they were taste testing. I was reading
you
some
get it with
article.
the Blue Moon. And
Yeah, I mean, maybe Blue Moon and what's that?
Hefeweizen.
Yeah, sometimes.
A lot of those are drank.
It's interesting.
And this is a Belgian style wheat, maybe. And this one said it's brewed with orange slices. So why not put a little citric acid in there and try and mellow it out? But that's pretty good.
All right, last one, Coach.
Last one coming up. Bloodline. This is called the Blood Orange Ale. Since we're going with oranges, we thought we'd throw this one in. It's an ale brewed with blood orange puree and natural flavors. Flying Dog. Flying Dog is a very popular company. They have a number of different stuff. It's made in Frederick, Maryland, and some of the
Dog?
Flying Dog. Yeah, you remember? I don't know what was the one we talked about. Raging Bitch. Raging Bitch is a big time beer in this area. It's on tap, and of course you can get bottles and stuff like this. But this is Flying Dog's Blood Orange. This is called Bloodlines. Made with blood orange. So go ahead and pour yourself a little bit of that right there. But I'm still, man, I cannot get enough of Port City beers. They make that Port City porter that they make is phenomenal. It's a dark beer. It's got roasted scents to it, and it's got a roasted taste. Really good stuff. It's a little darker, but let's see. There's a little orange scent to that when you smell it.
Yeah, you can smell the blood orange in it.
Yeah. That's another beer.
Man, we're almost batting 1,000 today with all these beers.
You know, God damn, that's pretty
You
good.
might be
isn't it?
batting 1,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
one that I'm still the double D. I'm not so hot on. I'm not.
Yeah, but I wonder if you had a seasoned glass. You know what I mean? But we've talked about this before. You know, we're talking about craft beers, and when you talk about craft beers, you know, sometimes you get a bottled version of something, and it's not perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get something that's just a little off, or a little ever. Their batch just wasn't right.
Sometimes I feel like you have to go there,
Right.
to try the
Right.
truest.
Right.
You know what I
you
mean?
get it right off the tap the way they made it.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes
And,
I think
it's
you're right.
moved like 20 feet. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right, went right from the giant vat right into.
Yeah, right. The Bunny Ranch is done.
Yeah, please get rid of the
Yeah.
Bunny Ranch. Can we do something different with instead of Bunny Ranch? As much as I like that.
Are you the producer? Shut your face.
Oh, I thought the producer was upstairs sleeping.
Does he upload the show? Does he work the mixer? Does he do the music? No.
I don't know. Maybe it's the same guy as the bartender. Huh? All right, so let's get these in order. So I think I'm not gonna lie. I think we got to go right down the line that we did today. So Port City Monumental IPA.
So that's definitely up there. I still like the Dogfish Head.
Yeah, Dogfish
I
Head's
like
definitely
that Dogfish Head. I say it's
Here to here. At
This
least
is the Hardywood.
At
This
least
is the
for you.
Hardywood one.
Okay.
I'm telling you what, our first two, Northern Lights and the freaking Monumental.
I gotta put the Dogfish Head number 2 at least.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing.
I
think we hit a home run with 6 beers that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Dude,
it's no Wood Booger. Wood Booger's a beer we tested a few weeks ago.
It was
Wood
the first
Did you
show.
pick a good one out?
You had to.
Pick a good one, huh?
Dude, you had to drill deep. You had to get 2 knuckles deep to get that fucking thing. That was the worst fucking beer we've ever had. It was the worst. It was awful. And we were in. Once again, we got to tell you where we got these from. There is a store right here near Winchester
Called the Better Beer Store.
Called the Better Beer Store, and there's a gentleman in there who knows more about beer. He's forgotten more about beer than I really know. And he's really good. And he helped us out a couple of weeks ago. And so CJ and I went in there today, and we picked out our beers for today. And we got beers for next week as well. And we saw a 6-pack. They have a section called Pick 'em where you can mix and match, and you can pick your own 6s and stuff, which is what we did. And they had Wood Booger in there. And there was a 6-pack.
There were people who actually took it. There was only 2 left.
People took
There
it.
were only 2 people. There were only 2 bottles left on the line. I was
Those
like,
poor
holy
souls.
shit. Whoever drank Wood Booger and like Wood Booger.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Those were the kids that ate fucking paste when they were in elementary school.
You love paint chips as a kid? Why?
Yeah. So let's get a picture of this. Let's get this up on our Twitter. I love the Monumental. I'm sorry. I'm going Monumental near the Dogfish Head. And you guys like the Dogfish Head. So let's put that up there. I like Bloodline too. So let's move Bloodline in there. I think that those were all in there. I think based on what you guys have said that the Double D may have been the lower end of what we were looking for, but I don't know.
It wasn't bad.
No,
it was
not-
just.
Turn the second one.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad.
It wasn't bad. It was a little bit.
Compared
If you
to
if you like an overpowering taste.
to compared to the other heavy hitters, hey, look, when you look at Dogfish Head, we drank it all.
I mean, it
We
was
drank all of those.
fantastic.
Yeah. And when you get an empty bottle, you hit the nail on the head. So,
Finish it all off, Coach?
yeah, I think we're done, man. 6 beers, another good section. Hey, I want to thank my boy Viggs for coming today. It was a last second thing. We had somebody cancel on us earlier, and he did a hell of a job.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. I know I'll be back.
Yeah, you got to
know.
come back because our show's a little different.
I
than
know, a little bit different. We actually do grown man things.
Yeah,
here.
we're grown man things. Thank you.
So from all of us here at Pub Talk, Coach CJ and Vigno, of course, find us on Twitter at @thepubqm, and please, for the love of God, send us your email questions at thepubqm@gmail.com. From all of us here at Pub Talk, we hope you enjoy, but there are some beers to drink and some sports to watch. We got to get back to the TV. I'm not going to watch NFL Total Access, though. That's shit. I'm not going to watch that. But grab a beer, drink responsibly, and have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Peace out.